Welcome to 3010 Reviews, the ultimate destination for indie and hobby game enthusiasts. The place where we play your game for 30 minutes and provide playtesting feedback for 10 minutes. At the end of the video, we'll assign a game readiness verdict. Take my money, almost there, and still brewing. Please understand that this is my opinion, and it is down to the developer to decide if they want to publish. This is their work and time, and ultimately, they can do as they please, and we should be respectful of that.
Hi everyone, I'm Bogdan, and today we're playing DarkAge. The description offered by the developer is as follows. DarkAge is a futuristic action game with beat-em-up mechanics and lots of adrenaline. High quality 3D low poly design. Play demo free now. You can be rewarded with a free copy of the game. 5 different themed locations, 9 levels of a final boss in each location, 45 frantic levels, 5 different characters of your choice with unique characteristics. Enjoy this frenetic beat 'em up. Working in the final version demo for Steam Next Fest.
We're starting off with the Think Aloud gameplay.
Okay, and we are in. I'm not hearing any sort of sound. Oh, I was wrong. This is post-edit, just to give everyone a heads up. I have reduced the volume by 30 decibels post-edit. Be warned for when you start the game, and the dev should definitely reduce the volume in-game, at least of the music. And the settings don't really seem to be doing much. So you've got a nice top performance ranking system at the top right, and you're offering a reward for the top 10 players. That's very kind of you. Let's get into it. Okay, a bit dark, and we have a small chat box at the bottom right. Let's see what they have to say. Whoa, the sensitivity is way too high. Ah, I'm getting attacked. The conversation isn't over. How rude. Left click, left click. Oh, that was a cool attack. Whoa. Yeah. I need to just give me a few seconds and I'll adapt to my sensitivity. Okay, so the escape button brings up the pause menu, and it has a nice what's it called, explanation of your buttons and your controls. I don't have a controller, so I'm not sure if they work or not. I was hoping to find the sensitivity setting, but there is none. Okay, I've got a cool dodge mechanic, and I have a nice rhombus or square, which shows how much stamina I have. Cool. Not too sure about the positioning of it. Okay, so it has some pretty cool animations. And I don't know what the 1 and 2 buttons do. I pressed them, they don't seem to work. Okay, swapping weaponry with the arrow keys may prove difficult. Also, I think because the sensitivity is too high, if you've noticed, my crosshair jumps a bit. So it's not that exact, it's not that accurate. Yeah, I'm loving this whole parkour element of the game. Got double jump, and then you also have vaulting over surfaces. Pretty cool. Oh! It seems that I have triple jump. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Interesting. The control system says... Oh, okay, the red thing damages me. The control system says that I have only a double jump. So what are these green things? Oh, they just give you bonus points. That's nice. And crouch seems to be working just fine. Okay, the green barrier just initiates the next stage, I think, of gameplay. Let me... Ooh! Actual karate moves, I think. How did that miss? Oh, aiming is so difficult. Okay, so enemies despawn and they drop health or ammo, and I think this only occurs with the mobs which have firearms. Okay, so I'm looking for a reload button, but I didn't see one on the control scheme. Maybe if I shoot on an empty magazine, that will work? No, it doesn't. Some games reload your weapon automatically if you're out of bullets in the magazine. Do you see how the aim jumps? In a very defined and specified square lattice. And I'm out of bullets. And now I'm getting shot at. I'm not sure if you've noticed or not, but you can zoom out and zoom in. It's nice. It helps with a larger field of view. Whoa, that was a snipe and a half. Let's try the flying mechanic next. Okay, this looks amazing. Pretty cool, and it felt cool to control as well. While the bots have a ruthless aim. I wish I could reload my weapons. I don't want to run head first into a person with a firearm. Okay, so when I take damage I get staggered and they commit animation cancelling on me, which seems a bit unfair because I can't seem to cause one on them. And even though I'm in range, it seems that not all hits connect. Yeah, I was looking at tab which says strafe, but it didn't seem to do anything. Maybe when I'm flying. Yeah, and the ammo, maybe I can try different types of ammo, like antimatter and stuff like that. Maybe that would give me bullets. No, it doesn't seem to work. Let me see if there's any reload button on the controller. But I can see one, so maybe there is no reload? Even though it says that I have ammo available, just not in the magazine. Cool. Let's explore a bit more. No, I can't ride them. Let's check for the next area. Okay, so I can see an ammo pickup. Let's see if it works. Even though I picked other ammo pickups. So I have more total ammo, but it still doesn't reload my weapons, nor can I reload. I don't know how to gain or lose altitude. I've tried looking towards the direction I want to go. I tried pressing space and control to go up or down. Just admiring the environment, it looks very nice. The ambience comes nicely together. The aesthetics are also consistent. If you notice the shadows, they move. So I'm not sure if it's dynamic day-night system or just clouds, but it's nice. Let's run into the red. Nope, that's not the way. I don't know why I expected a different result. Extra point. Oh, new area. Gonna try and deal with the melee mobs first. Because the marksmen, they are ruthless. Okay, I'm getting overrun here. Dodge doesn't work, dodge doesn't work. Q doesn't work. I think they're cancelling my dodge animation. And I'm probably gonna RIP here. Yep. Oh, instant revive. Yeah, my hits not connecting with the mobs is a pretty big issue. So I'm trying to kite them. It doesn't really seem to be working because my hit doesn't connect, so I don't know the point of connection, where the trigger is. Is it at the end of the blade? Is the blade the actual trigger for damage? Or is it an animation based thing? Oof, I'm getting sniped. Where from? It's probably the floating platform at the beginning. I'm just playing with my weapon swapping system. I'm trying to find a way to more easily access it while in combat. But having to use the keys, so I'm forced to take my right hand off the mouse and swap through the weaponry. You probably need a third hand to play this game smoothly. At least on a mouse and keyboard setting. Obviously it's probably easier on the controller. So I've kept my ammo in hopes that I can deal some damage and destroy the marksman NPCs and make it easier for me to survive this stage. This is not good. I've aggroed the other enemies and these ones as well. I didn't know that they would spawn back in the spawn area. And I'm completely surrounded. What am I doing? Whoa. How did they damage me? I was sure I was out of the range. Dodge! Oh, why'd you dodge that way? I'm getting shot as well. Ah, come on, grab the platform. I want to think of a plan. I'm going for the guy on top, I think. Get some HP or, well, no reason to get an ammo drop. An HP drop would be really useful. Oh, why'd you attack that way? How am I not hitting him? Well, that didn't go as planned. Oh, get sniped! And it's funny that I had to finish the animation and then I died. I don't know, I'm checking the menu again. And am I missing some settings? Because I can't... I want to make my play experience a bit better. I want to have a chance in defeating the stages. I'm second. Oh, that's close. Probably someone managed to destroy everybody. I think I'm getting a free game. Also, the person at the top is the creator of the game, the dev themselves. So they don't count. I'm the best one. Come on. We're in 2024. We don't need to have a web browser page show up when you press about. Maybe wishlist, well, or wishlist. Yeah, fair enough, it takes you to the Steam page, but about, not needed, and not wanted. Okay, so this loading screen was a bit longer than the first one. I've just realized this, but I think that NPCs have a shorter animation on their attacks. Why? I should be the strong one. I should be able to attack faster. I mean, if you add animation cancellation or staggering to me, and they have a higher attack speed than me, how am I ever going to be able to defeat them in a 1v1? Yeah, I've been trying to use the lock-on mechanic, which is presented in the control schemes. Doesn't seem to be work at all. Yeah, I think how it could be useful, but definitely doesn't work. can't get enough of the flying mechanic. And I also like the fact that it's an unlimited resource. It doesn't drain your stamina or anything. Get inside. Oh, I can't get inside the chimney. Oh, there's fall damage? And I died? Well, nothing's happening. I don't think the game registers that the character has died if they die from fall damage, because I had to exit to the main menu. Okay, let's try and play a bit smarter this time around. I'm gonna try and kite them, but it's really no use if my attack doesn't connect with them. I'm hoping to attack them right on the edge of the blade. They would stagger, then I can take a step back. And oh my god, it took me a few tries to have the dodge work because of the animation cancellation. I should have hit them there. Like, how do they reach me but I don't reach them? This needs to be adjusted. Yeah, this over here, this duel, was the perfect example of how a 1v1 would go against an enemy which has a faster attack speed than you, and also you get staggered, so your animation also gets cancelled. You're completely unarmed against them, and I don't think it should be this way. They're so OP that maybe those mechanics should be part of a boss or a mini boss or an elite unit or something. I've noticed some inconsistencies with the jump mechanic as well. Like at that point I just wanted to double jump with that enemy, but I wasn't able to. I only jumped once. Where am I getting sniped from? Bro, these guys are ruthless. I didn't know I can vault over NPCs. Okay, so I've been trying really hard to be able to progress forward, maybe defeat the first score as well. But I just don't have the patience for this. And this is not a Souls-like game either. I think the game didn't recognize my new state. I don't think it recognized me dying. And that is it with the gameplay. I'll see you in the feedback segment.
Now that the playtesting segment is over, it's time for us to provide some constructive feedback. The feedback will cover the following categories: accessibility, not only from the aspect of monetary resources, which directly reflects on the performance of the player's device, but also from the perspective of individuals which are differently able-bodied. UI UX, is it intuitive? Does it provide the player with the required information to play the game? MDA model, mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics. Community. We're looking for digital distribution platform, Steam, Epic Launcher, itch.io, community management platforms such as Discord and social media presence, X, YouTube, TikTok. And the last category is game-breaking bugs. You may have a gem of a game, but releasing it with a game-breaking bug may have devastating consequences on your day of release. Let's get into it. Moving on to the feedback, starting off with accessibility.
Talking about the settings, it's quite basic. The current menu has volume control and a template for language selection. You've added level of detail control for graphics performance, didn't test it out, but you haven't added resolution and window mode selection. Usually these are reversed in priority. This game desperately needs a setting for mouse sensitivity, as my aim was too sporadic when playing. It took me a few minutes to adapt to the high sensitivity, just for me having to get used to my usual low sensitivity in all of the other activities. When playing the game, swapping the weapons using the arrow keys makes it difficult to play. If you navigate the character using WASD, W-A-S-D, select weapon with arrows and aim with the mouse, you need a third hand to play. Consider adding the weapon shortcut on the number keys above WASD. It's a proven concept and one of the better methods of arsenal management.
Now we'll cover UI and UX.
In the main menu, the UI is consistent and nicely packed. I don't know how to feel about using the special font for a game and a different one for the ranking system. Try and be consistent regarding them. Having a top leaderboard on the main menu is definitely something new, but I think I like it. It reinforces the desire to be on top if you're an achiever archetype for gamer. If you're not, and you prefer a more relaxed environment, I can see how this would be off-putting. So maybe consider adding a ranking button in the menu. And that way, it would be easily accessible for those which want to check their performance and hidden away from those which are not interested. You've also added an in-game pause menu, but it's limited to a description of the controls with the continue and exit button. Nowadays, it's expected to have access to some form of settings. As soon as we start the game, we get a chat box. While I was trying to follow the chat, the NPCs already ambushed me. Maybe it would be best if the game time would pause while there is a chat box, especially at the beginning of the game when players are still learning the ropes. I like the always visible arsenal display. It helps getting accustomed to the selection method you've implemented. I had too few bullets to notice if the ammo type works. Having all the required information to play the game readily available in one corner is very efficient and makes a lot of sense. You've put the ammo in the right bottom corner. This also helps with not overloading the player with having to differentiate between all the points of interest in one corner. Having said that, there are valid reasons why AAA studios decide to spread out the information displayed on the HUD throughout the screen. It has been observed that having the actual weapon on display doesn't make a lot of difference. As a matter of fact, it may be burdensome. Just knowing that pressing a key will use a respective weapon is enough, and the most popular case is with CS2, Counter-Strike. It's been the standard for decades now.
It's time to move on to the MDA model.
While acknowledging that this is an early iteration of the game, we can still discuss improvements. There's been issues with the fluidity of the melee attacking mechanic. I don't believe the enemies should have a faster attacking animation than yourself, unless they are a special type of unit. It is an inescapable position when you are surrounded by 3-4 enemies. Trying to dodge barely gets you out of that precarious situation, but only after you've lost a good chunk of HP. To avoid this from happening, consider adding more attack modes with the sword for the character, such as this: left click, a fast attack and low damage, right click, a heavy attack, medium damage, and holding right click pressed will charge the attack, where you pull that nice roundhouse animation attack. This will offer the player a fighting chance. You already have all the animations for the attacks I've mentioned, might as well use them. The flying mechanic and the triple jump add a lot of mobility, and combined with the fact that the character can vault surfaces, makes for a liberating experience. I hope that as you progress in the development of this game, you will decide to make the play areas much larger. Having all this mobility confined to such a small area is a bit of a letdown. Just like the score pickups, you should consider adding other pickups like ammo and health, maybe even secret weaponry for that level, and not have them be restricted to eliminating enemies. However, since the character can fight with the sword and fists, I can see how that would be a purposeful decision. Just from the mobility and liberating mechanics, there will be an impressive amount of emergent gameplay. This reminds me of Dishonored and the sick combos you could make. What I urge you to add is a ground slam attack. It would improve the gameplay quality and increase the satisfaction a player could achieve while playing. As it stands, there are some glaring disassociations within the feedback loops of the player and the system. The first one is the decision to make the arsenal control using the arrow keys. Having the weapons on the numbers above rust has been ingrained in all the players which have played any of the popular shooter games. The accuracy with which the bots shoot the player is unforgiving. Consider adding some modifiers which will cause the bots to miss, so that the player won't get frustrated with the perfect aim. Even though you have such liberating mechanics, I haven't managed to glide. As there is no tutorial, I'm not sure if I'm not meeting the preconditions to gliding. I tried going at a higher altitude and then flew away, but it didn't seem to do the trick. The statics of the game fall in nicely together. The music, SFX and general ambience complement each other. The animations give the sensation that the player character is a highly trained and skilled individual, which fits with the look of the character.
Now, let's cover your community outreach.
What you have: Steam, Kickstarter, we'll talk about the Kickstarter in a minute, website, X, Facebook, Reddit, and YouTube. What you don't have: an Epic Store page, a TikTok, and a Discord. If you have any of these and I've missed them, please tell me and I will add them in the video description. Now going back to your Kickstarter. This is your fourth one. You've been trying to bake a cake, but it keeps turning out burnt. Maybe it's time to consider tweaking the recipe or adjusting your approach to getting different results. As a potential backer, seeing your history and how little you've changed your approach since March 2023, I need to see some changes. But what you're changing is the approach to the game, and this is maybe the one thing you shouldn't be doing. Any game has the potential to be successful in their Kickstarter, so it's not the game, it's everything else which complements the game. Developing games takes time, and you've changed your mind about the game 4 times in a year. You need to be perseverant with one design and try and implement the changes presented in this feedback. The demo you've provided is not even an MVP, minimum viable product, because it doesn't work as intended. Therefore, the players and your audience can't experience your intended experience for the product. You're only showing a few game features and most of the assets you're using are outsourced. The audience you appeal to knows this. Having said that, you need to realize that your trust factor is minimal, and we can predict the outcome of this Kickstarter and of this project from your repertoire, and it's not a favorable outcome. I'm certain that you're aware of this too. However, if you're using these attempts as a learning experience, then more power to you, and you're doing very well. But consider researching the field a bit more before creating another Kickstarter. GDC has some amazing content on their YouTube channel and in their vault.
Bugs and game-breaking bugs.
Jumping is unreliable. The control scheme states that we can double jump, but sometimes I can triple jump and other times single jump. The ammo management system doesn't work. Either that or the reload function doesn't work, but seeing that no reload function is defined in the control scheme, it's probably the latter. Gliding is defined in the control scheme, but it didn't seem to work. It's probably user fault, but there's no explanation how it could work, nor as an experienced gamer did I find a way to make it work. Ultimately, it's a design UI issue. You need to inform the player on how to use the mechanics in the game. When ADSing, aiming downside, it seems that the crosshair moves on a square lattice. I'm going to assume that you're using the controller parameters for the mouse. At the slightest input of the mouse, the crosshair moves a well-defined distance. This makes it frustrating for the player to aim. I believe this is more of a feature or maybe an oversight rather than a bug. But once you finish a special movement action, your weapon is holstered. Have it reappear once the player character reaches a default state. Nobody wants to drop in front of their enemies barehanded when they have the option of using weaponry. Also, the dodge seems to work by taking the direction the player is facing and dodging that direction, but I'm not quite sure, as it exhibited different behaviors as well. More than anything, it might be tied to the animation itself rather than anything else. Consider a different approach to this mechanic, maybe having the character dodge towards the direction of the pressed key according to global coordinates rather than local ones. Just use the horizontal axes.
Before we assign a rating to this project, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy what I'm doing. Leave a comment if you agree or disagree with any of the points I've made. Share my content with your developer friends. And with no more delay, it's time for the verdict. And your verdict is still brewing.
This project has a long way to go and hurdles to overcome. It is to be expected with any project during its first iterations. Currently, I believe it has a strong identity and can provide a lot of fun, intended and emergent, to the players. More content needs to be developed and bugs aren't out. If you like what I'm doing, have a look at this video covering Cataclysmo, a game which already achieved their Kickstarter funding and are developing a gem.